Yeah, thanks everyone. So my name's George. I run the platform Carnism Debunked. You can find my website carnismdebunked.com. I do the YouTube channel Carnism Debunked. My Instagram is carnism_debunked. And yeah, I just post animal rights content on social media in those places, and obviously on my Facebook page Carnism Debunked as well.
All right, thank you for coming on. Andrew Wilson, shout yourself out. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Wilson. I am the host of The Crucible, though from time to time I do enjoy a debate myself. I appreciate my co host coming in to moderate this. Of course, I got a feeling he'll be harder on me, kind of revenge for always being harder on him when he was the one debating. So, not looking forward to that. But I do appreciate my opponent coming on. Seems like a very decent guy. Hoping we can have a good combo tonight.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see who's harder on who as the debate progresses. But I think it'll be a good show. I'm excited for this one. So, for those of you that are just joining, the topic is going to be: Is eating meat moral or immoral? It's essentially the vegan question. But they're going to take it how they see fit. I expect you guys both to adhere to my moderation. Each of you are going to get an opening statement followed by open dialogue, and then we're going to go to closing statements and callers and super chats. That's what I wanted to remind everybody of. We are taking callers tonight. So if you want to call in and ask either debater a question, get the Discord link from the live chat or the channel description or the video description below. Get in the Discord, get the link from the mods, and you can actually call in and ask a question to either debater directly. And obviously, we are always taking super chat questions, so send those in either on YouTube or the Dono chat link in the live chat. We discussed backstage that George here is going to go first, so whenever you're ready, you've got 7 minutes on the clock.
All right, thank you. Hold on, let me get my opening statement up. Okay.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready. Good.
Cool. All right. So here's my opinion statement. In today's debate, Andrew, not myself, will be the one defending an utterly indefensible industry. The following things are all directly observable, and I'm willing to prove it by messaging anyone in the audience the footage of what I'm about to say, should they not believe me. In the egg industry, male chicks are shredded, gassed, drowned, or suffocated at birth, simply because they cannot lay eggs and do not grow fast enough to be profitable for meat. In the dairy industry, male calves are often bludgeoned to death with pickaxes, sent off a veal to have their or led into a mass grave to be shot in the head one by one, while their mothers live a life of being repeatedly raped with steel instruments in order to impregnate them to produce more slaves and more milk, until they too are sent off to be murdered. In the wool and meat industry, lambs and goats are packed onto slave ships for live export, sometimes even being thrown overboard to drown, in scenes reminiscent of the most horrific atrocities in human history. Anyone with even a modicum of empathy can admit that these things are clearly evil and wrong. The problem is, however, everyone thinks that animal foods are delicious. So what people will do to excuse these clearly immoral acts is to espouse a long list of tiresome excuses to try to distract vegans from the point. If animal foods tasted like dog shit, everyone would just admit that these industries are immoral and they'd be done with. But unfortunately, steak is delicious, hence the existence of these industries and the lies and excuses non-vegans give to keep them in business. I'm experienced enough now as a vegan to know that when non-vegans give these excuses, they're essentially trying to polish a turd. Animal agriculture is the most violent and destructive industry on the planet. So in order to justify their actions, non-vegans will hide behind seemingly benevolent reasoning, such as saying that destroying animal agriculture will result in the loss of jobs, asking what will happen to all the animals if we don't eat them, and saying that there has never been a fully vegan society, and thus we have no evidence to say that this would work and would be a bad idea. In reality, non-vegans do not care about the loss of jobs. If they did, they would also use the same "what about jobs" line of reasoning against people who don't smoke, or against people who bought DVDs when the VCR industry was on the brink of collapse. They would also ensure to buy every single plant product there is, dragon fruits, kiwis, melons, Sharon fruit, and so on, so as to avoid putting people out of jobs in the dragon fruit industry. Not to mention all the plant-based meat alternative industries by which many people worldwide sustain a living from working in. I'm yet to hear a single non-vegan say, everyone should buy Beyond Burgers because otherwise it's putting people out of jobs in the plant-based meat industry. How convenient. Similarly, non-vegans do not care about the extinctions of cows, pigs, chickens, and sheep. Rather, they care about the extinction of nuggets, bacon, fillet steak, and Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream. An argument of Andrew's against Hunter Toby was that there has never been a fully vegan civilization. I put it to Andrew that this is a similarly disingenuous argument to the aforementioned ones, and that when Andrew sees a double cheese pepperoni pizza on the shelf, he does not say to himself, "Damn, I wouldn't buy this delicious pepperoni pizza with gooey melting hot cheese all over it, but alas, there has never been a vegan civilization in history, so I must do my duty and buy it, because otherwise this society would just not be able to function." Ultimately, like all non-vegans, Andrew's argumentation there was nothing more than a turd polishing exercise, and he was using benevolent justifications to hide behind a malevolent reason to eat pizza. That is, these animals are abused and massacred for him simply because he loves the taste of their bodies, and he cannot imagine what life would be like without these products. Similarly, another excuse non-vegans may hide behind is the claim that we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for eating animals. This utterly irrelevant objection is also disingenuous and inconsistent, because by non-vegans' logic, we should also bomb Germany now, because if it weren't for the bombing of Germany in World War II, we may now all be living under fascism. Also, by their logic, we should enslave Africans now, because the most advanced and prosperous civilizations in the world, where we're proud to live in the free West, were built on the backs of black slavery, and black slavery proved hugely beneficial for creating what is now known as the free world, from which many advancements were brought forth. Christians may also give justifications for the horrors of animal agriculture by saying that the acts within the industry are permitted by this God character. This line of reasoning would be utterly hilarious if the consequences of believing it weren't so horrendous. After all, if God permits male calves herding pigs into gas chambers, throwing lambs off ships, raping cows with steel rods, shredding male chicks in macerator machines, and doing all this for the sake of gluttonous results such as the consumption of pizza, ice cream, and bacon, then what the fuck does the devil do? From what I gather, Andrew's usual tactic when debating vegans is to ask them what is immoral about eating animals. When they answer, he will then ask why that is immoral, and then why that is immoral, and then why he would care about that, and then why he would care about that, and then on what basis that is immoral, and so on. So as to avoid this and ensure we can get right into it, so that I can actually be arguing the things that Andrew actually cares about in order to convince him of my position. If I may, I would like to ask Andrew the opening question of the debate that I believe will help skip all this and ensure that it's a good faith discussion from the off. Thank you. That was my opening statement.
All right, thank you for that. And Andrew, whenever you're ready, you got 7 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm going to honor that request. And when I'm done with my opening, I will let him ask the first question so that we can dive into it. Does that sound fair to you, George Martin? For
Yeah, of
maximum
course.
good faith. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to go over a few of these things. I was writing them down. You can see that he's already smuggling language in the debate, right? Andrew will be defending the indefensible. I think it's very defensible, right? You didn't give a demonstration even one time as to why eating meat was actually immoral. I need you to recognize that. You never actually said why eating meat was immoral, not even once. You gave us a big song and dance about the gas chambers and black slavery and how awful all of that is, but you never actually explained why the fuck I shouldn't eat meat, George. Just so you know, I'm just letting you know. Never, not once, George, not once. George goes on to say steak is delicious. Steak is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But again, didn't actually make an argument at all as to why it is that I shouldn't eat this delicious thing, which he agrees is fucking delicious. When it comes to animal agriculture, I literally don't care. Just so you understand, I give animals no moral preference whatsoever. I don't give a shit if people drown puppies in their backyard. It's completely meaningless to me. Animals are an extension and a tool of humanity and nothing more. And I'm never going to see them as anything but that unless I hear a good argument why I should, which so far you still haven't given me. Whole bunch of straw mans, right? He, remember in the middle of his opening statement, what typically non-vegans say is blank. Well, I don't care what they say because you're not debating with any of them. So the whole thing was completely irrelevant, and you should have instead directed your criticisms towards me. Last, you said you talked a lot about jobs, right? I don't care about jobs because I want to know why eating meat's immoral. I don't want to know why Jorge being out of work because he can't work in the kill factory anymore is immoral. I don't give a shit about that. And I don't care about the extinction of every sheep on planet Earth. I don't care about that either, because I don't think that we ought to give any preference, moral preference to animals at all. I don't care about it. It means nothing to me. He brings up that I said that there has never been a vegan civilization to Toby, and that's true. I did, but he omits that my critique was because Toby's argument was that all of civilization should become vegan. Don't you think it's a fine counter position to take if somebody says all of humanity should change everything that it does? To be just maybe a little bit critical of that, maybe question it just a little bit by saying, can't you indicate a single point in history where that's happened? So we have something other than your broad prescription based on the highest form of scientific evidence when you don't even know the scientific method, George. Also, I want you to know that you are smuggling in all kinds of loaded language, like rape, things like this. These things apply to humans, not animals. You smuggle that language in specifically because you're trying to draw a parallel and make people think that Fido the dog is a human being. Fido the dog is not a human being. Last, he talks about why is this immoral, then why is that immoral, then why is this immoral. It's called logic, George. That's how logic works. Well, if you think that this is bad and this is based on this, then that thing should be bad. And then by that logic, that other thing behind that should be bad. And then that other thing should be bad behind that, and et cetera, until you get to the very foundation of what it is a person believes. Now, we're going to get into logic in this debate because it's very important that we do. But whatever your question is, because I'm now done with my opening statement, can you please give me a single argument for why actually eating meat is immoral? That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
All right. Before we get into it, this is going to be a heated and contentious debate, I can already tell. Thank you guys both for the opening statements. Do want to remind everybody we are taking callers at the end of this debate. So mods, if you could please link the Discord in the live chat, or if you go to the channel description, you can actually get it there and join the Discord. Get the stream link from the mods in the Discord and come on stream and ask your questions directly. And we have gotten a few super chats already. I promise we will get to all of those at the end of the debate, and send those in throughout if you have questions for either side. We appreciate all of those. Like I said, thank you guys for the opening statements. We did agree that George is going to get the first question as far as the open dialogue. So the floor is open, gentlemen. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, thanks. Well, Andrew, I guess I would just ask you the question: what would it be that I would need to convince you?
I'm getting a bad echo. I'm sorry.
That might be me.
Hang on. It looks like it went away. Sorry. Looks like it went away. My bad. Go ahead, George.
Cool. I would just ask you, Andrew, what is it that I would need to convince you of in order for you to go vegan?
You would need to convince me that there's some reason in a metaphysical sense that it would be immoral for me to eat meat. So let me give you an example of this. I don't give a shit if you eat lettuce and tomatoes all day like a rabbit. It doesn't mean anything to me if that's the way that you choose to live your life and eat vegetables all day. I don't care. It's perfectly okay with me. What you're saying, and this is why in your opening statement you were wrong when you said Andrew will be defending the indefensible. You are the one actually who are defending the indefensible. You're saying to me, you need to change your normative outlook on what it is that you eat. I think what you're doing is bad. Whereas, George, I don't think what you're doing is bad. I'm neutral on it. I don't care if you eat fruits and vegetables and shit. I'm not trying to make you eat meat. That's just more meat for me.
I'm not sure if you are moral on it. Zen told me in the Instagram messages that you said that eating meat is moral. So that's not a neutral position.
Well, okay. If you want an affirmation that eating meat is moral, I'll say it's because in my religion, the Orthodox religion, they don't care what you eat. They don't care. It's not of import to us at all.
Okay. So if someone was to would that be okay in your religion?
No.
Mm-hmm. And would I be right in saying you have German Shepherds?
I have a Shepakita.
What's their name?
Sue.
Sue. Now, if someone was to sue, would you see that as an immoral act or a moral act?
Yeah, it's a crime against me.
So your dog Sue has no moral value aside from the fact that she lives in your house?
No, there's no moral value that I assign the dog other than my own personal connection to it. So you're committing a heinous crime against me. You're damaging living property that I've invested a lot of time into, and therefore you need to be punished greatly.
Right. Hold on, Andrew. Let me get this straight. If Sue was bred in the Chinese or the Korean dog meat industry, you would be okay with someone Sue's.
Yeah, I don't care.
I would
She,
consider that.
in fact, I mean, like with barbecue sauce, she probably tastes delicious.
Guys, I literally I can't continue the debate from here. That's it.
Wait,
I
what?
would open up the floor to Q&A. That sounds insane to me. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm not saying this to troll you. I haven't
You
come
know,
here to troll
you do
you.
realize that
Andrew,
just saying that sounds insane
no, Andrew. I
doesn't
haven't.
mean anything?
Andrew, I haven't come here to troll you, but you've just said you would be okay to sue if she was born in the Korean dog meat industry and you would eat her with barbecue sauce. The only thing that is bad about slitting Sue's throat is that she belongs to you.
Let me retract some of that. I might have some salt and pepper with it too. I just want to make sure that you, from just because it just, I mean, come on, like I just want to make sure that it's the most delicious when I eat it. But
right.
no, I could care less if Sue was bred elsewhere,
Okay.
meaning I had no physical connection to her whatsoever,
Right.
and they ate the animal. I don't care. Why do I care about your
Zen,
feelings, sir?
Zen,
Like, why do I care? Imagine saying
Hold
to
on.
me, imagine coming on here and having the gall to be like, you would eat this animal you had no connection to whatsoever. I do it every single day. Yeah, it's not a problem for me. Right? What do you mean?
Am I allowed to ask a question to the moderator?
Yeah, go ahead.
Zen, are you friends with Andrew?
I would say so, yeah.
Does it slightly concern you that Sue is in Andrew's care and he would not give a shit if someone sues if she was born in a different household to his or born like in the Chinese meat industry?
I have to try to be neutral, but what I would say, and I think this is fair to say, is that the only reason that dog is named Sue is because it's Andrew's dog. If it was in the Korean dog industry, it wouldn't even have a name.
Yeah, well, its name would be Food A.
No, but
or Food B.
But
or
Sue
Food
would,
C.
But Andrew, Sue would still be a sentient being who I'm sure you value Sue for other reasons than the fact that she is in your house.
I value her 100% based on the utility that she gives me as a companion, but that's my own personal perception. My own personal feelings has nothing to do with how much I value the dog morally or not morally.
So if Sue gave nothing to you, you would be okay with someone you mentioned in your opening statement someone drowning puppies in their backyard and you didn't care.
Yeah,
if someone drowned Sue in their backyard in a sack, you just wouldn't care if you'd never met Sue.
If I had no personal connection to the animal.
Yes.
Yeah. Why would I care? They take cows and slaughter.
Care.
They take cows in slaughterhouses. Like you're asking me if you had a cow named Sue, right? And you ate hamburgers in front of it, which I would do, by the way. Okay. You're asking me if you never had any connection to Sue and that cow was the one who ended up in the slaughterhouse, you wouldn't care. The answer would unequivocally be yes, I wouldn't care. And by the way, while you might think that this is some strange, not only is this not an own, but it's a very, very odd way to even frame something. Nobody cares, man. Right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They eat bacon like people will eat bacon in front of their pigs. They don't care.
Right, but do you care that Sue would be drowned in a fucking sack in someone's back garden if she wasn't yours?
No, I don't care. There's no moral. Listen, it happens all the time. People who train dogs, if they want to keep the line pure, will often take puppies that have something that's impure in them, and then they'll drown them. And you know why they do that? Because they don't want impurities in the seeing eye for the blind animals, for instance. Let's say they have to have a completely pure animal in order to train it properly. So in order to keep the purity high, they'll drown the puppies literally in a bucket. Now, I see maximum utility in those animals being purebred so that they can guide the blind around, meaning that if they are getting drowned, the puppies are getting drowned in a bucket, I don't care. Also, beagles have heinous experiments done on them in order to figure out whether or not antibiotics will be effective. They stick beagles' heads inside of things and let bugs eat their faces off just to see what'll happen. But that's of great interest to humanity. So I also don't care.
So, right. So let's say Zen breaks into your property and sues. Your only problem there is that Zen has broken into your property. You don't really care that Sue's been.
I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to make sure I get it correct.
If Zen was to break into your property and he was to sue because he liked the taste of her body, your only problem with what Zen did was that he's broken onto your property, so it's a crime against your property rights, and he sues, and that's a crime against you because Sue is yours.
Interestingly enough, not only would that be my position, but it would be the position of the law itself, who does not see Sue as anything other than a piece of my property, like a stereo, and would assess it as such.
And that's the way you see Sue. She's just like a stereo. She doesn't have any moral value aside from the fact that she's in your house.
Yeah, it's just whatever I decide to assign her, but she doesn't have, there's no great importance of her anywhere else. Nobody should assign any additional moral value. They shouldn't weep for Sue's death, even if they might weep for me because I have feelings about it.
So if
they're sad for their friend, you know.
Well, hold on, Andrew. If Sue died, in fact, if someone drowned,
by the way, all
Sue
of these
in
are
a sack,
emotional appeals. None of them are arguments, just so you know. But go ahead.
They're not emotional appeals. I'm talking about, holy shit, Andrew. If someone drowned Sue in a sack, you don't think that would be immoral?
No, I think it would be immoral because it's a crime against me. But if you're saying I'm out of the picture, if it's like Sue's a stray or something like this, there's no owner, there's no crime. I don't assign any moral value to animals, none. And what I'm keep asking you, because you're like, I want to convince you, I keep on asking you why I should. And you keep on making an assertion. Well, wait a second. Are you saying if somebody came in and fucking, kicked over your grandma's ashes, are they doing something immoral? It's like, tell me why it's immoral, right? I'm asking you why, to give me a reason, not to just endlessly give me assertions. I don't care about the assertions. I want an argument.
Okay, Andrew, the problem is, if I can't even convince you that someone Sue's would be immoral, how the fuck am I going to convince you that slitting cows?
Well, this is an important question, because your big fight, according to you, is to convince the vast majority of the planet which eat meat that eating meat is bad. And yet most people on the planet agree with me and assign almost zero moral value to animals who are raised for the purposes of consumption. None. If they have no personal connection to the animal, they don't fucking care about the animal. So while at the same time you try to criticize me, your entire job is supposed to be, how can I convince you today, right? And you haven't even levied a single criticism at me. Just ask me what I would do in a situation, but have not levied what I would do in the situation is bad. Why is it bad?
Andrew, the criticism is a fucking reductio. You have said if someone sues, the only crime would be against you and your property rights or whatever. That's crazy.
Well, you keep saying that. Understand, assertions aren't arguments. Just saying, I think it's crazy that you think the other way. What would you consider it? Would you consider it murder? Should the guy go to jail for murder 1, capital punishment, George?
Andrew, if someone sues...
Answer my question, George.
Yes, I'm answering it. Andrew.
Is he going to go to doggy prison, George?
Hold on, you haven't let me answer.
Answer.
Andrew, if someone sues... Yes, they should go to prison.
No, should they go to prison for murder like you would go to prison for murder of a human? And if not, how many dogs would they need to kill in order to go to murder or to go to prison for murder? Like capital murder. How many, George?
I don't know about the years, but they should definitely be punished. Do you not agree that they should be punished?
Well, you're not answering my question. Should they get the same first-degree murder punishment that a human being gets?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay. If somebody came in and they killed my wife,
yes,
versus someone came in and killed my dog, should they get the same?
Andrew,
should they get the same punishment?
Andrew, what would be wrong with someone breaking into your property and slitting your wife's throat?
My wife is a human being. She has value. I assign moral value to human
Why
beings,
does
not
she
to
have
animals.
why does she have value and Sue doesn't?
Well, hang on, I'll get to that. And I think it's an important question, but I still need you to answer mine. You just keep evading it. One more
I
time.
haven't evaded anything.
You say I'm crazy because I say that I would treat
I
this
didn't
as a
say you were crazy. I
Yes,
just
you
said your
did.
point was
Let me
crazy.
finish.
No, Andrew.
You said
I said your point was crazy.
Well, let's let hang
Hang on.
on. Sorry, a lot of crosstalk. Let's let Andrew get the question out clearly. Let's try to let George get his answer out, and then continue from there.
You
Let
said
Andrew go.
that I should treat this in some way other than a property crime, which the law, by the way, doesn't even do, and nor should they, because they would have to assign some type of moral characteristics to the animals that are equivalent to human beings. They judge it in a completely different light. So I'm going to ask you again, George, if the punishment shouldn't be the same, then you value animals less morally than human beings as well. So do dogs go to jail for do you go to jail for first degree murder for killing a dog just like you would if you killed a human or not, George?
That's a straw man of the whole vegan position.
Well,
The vegan
I'm
position,
asking you a direct question.
Andrew, hold on. The vegan position is not that every single human killed or animal killed should be the exact valued in the exact same way. It's just that animals have moral value. But I just hold on. Andrew,
What? Wait. So what
What?
happens? So what should happen? How should you judge a crime? Shouldn't you judge it by it being property? Property that was destroyed? How else would you judge it,
No
George? Well, how would you
property.
judge it?
Wait, hold on, Andrew. Property. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why is property? That would be an act of vandalism.
That's
We're not
what it's
talking here. No,
that's
Andrew.
what it's classified as now.
No,
How would
Andrew.
you classify it?
Andrew, we're not talking here about someone walking into your house and kicking the TV. We're talking about here someone walking into your house and a sentient being's throat, whether it's your dogs or your wives. You don't
agree.
have to value. You don't have to value your dog and the wife is the same. That's not the vegan position. So that's just
Didn't
a
say it
straw man of
was.
the vegan. Hold on.
I'm not am I addressing the entire vegan
Okay.
position or am I addressing you specifically in your position?
But that is not the vegan position.
Don't care about the vegan position. I'm asking you
I know you
directly
don't care about the
question.
vegan position, but the point is you said that going into your house and your dogs would just be a crime against property.
Yeah. How else would you judge it? That's what I'm asking you.
It's a crime against that being, that individual.
So what should the penalty be? Is it equivalent to the penalty you would give a human being, or is it going to be a lesser penalty?
It doesn't matter because the whole vegan argument.
It doesn't matter, huh?
It doesn't.
And you think I'm the crazy one? Why should it be assigned?
I never
as
said you were
something-
the crazy one.
Why should it be assigned as
I
something?
don't think, Andrew, I don't think you're personally crazy. I think the position is crazy.
Is it murder?
Yes.
Would it be okay if it's murder? Why would you assign it a different type of murder than a human being, or would you?
As in the dog?
Yeah.
If we were to define what was, well, firstly, I do think it's murder.
Okay. I think you and I have the same definition of murder. We
Yeah.
can skip right past that. So since you murdered the dog, you consider it murder, right? Just like you came in and murdered a human being. So what should the penalty be? Should it be equivalent or lesser than?
Andrew, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter what the penalty should be?
Here's why it
That's
matters.
just a very convenient way. That's such a convenient way to just say, "Oh, your point is silly," because
it is silly.
You don't know the exact number of years that it would be.
No. Here's why it's silly. I'll literally paint you a verbal picture, George. It's silly because I say that the crime is against property that's owned by a person. That's the only way it could ever be judged, because nobody could actually give moral value to an animal. You say that's not true. It's murder. So I ask you what the moral value set should be, and you're like, I don't fucking know. So why should I take you seriously, George?
You should take me seriously because I actually assign Sue moral value because she's a sentient being who doesn't want to have her.
Then
and
tell
you,
me what the punishment
and
should
Sue
be.
is in your fucking house, and you're here, Andrew, saying, "Oh, she's just property," and the only reason that it's bad is that she's property, and that's why and that's why it's bad.
Try to understand this in your head. I'm going to try to help you out here.
Go on.
So I have an emotional connection to that dog.
Yep.
But I also have emotional connections to other things as well that are not my, like, for instance, my brother, after he passed, I got his guitar. I have a very deep-seated emotional connection to that. Somebody came in and broke the guitar. they are not going to get a greater punishment than what they would get for breaking anybody's random guitar, regardless of my emotional and hang on, regardless of my emotional investment in the guitar. The
Mhm.
same exact thing applies to
Yep.
your animal. Regardless of your emotional investment in the animal, there's no greater penalty that's going to happen to you other than that your property was destroyed by somebody else, no matter how much you loved it. That's the way that this operates in the law currently. And it makes a lot of sense because we don't give animals moral preference the same way that we do human beings. You say inside the vegan position, you agree with that. Fair enough. So I'm asking you, since you consider it to be murder, though, and you and I likely have the same definition of murder, can you explain to me what the punishment should be? Should it be equal or not equal to murdering a person?
Hold on. Are you comparing Sue to a guitar?
No, I'm drawing an analogy. I'm just making an analogy of things that you can emotionally value,
But
and
do
that if
you think
somebody assaults the thing you emotionally value, it doesn't make the thing more valuable.
yeah, but do you think Sue has more moral value than a guitar?
No, I don't think she has any more. No, I consider her property. Again, she's property.
So Sue is just an inanimate object.
I shot a chicken in the face for looking at me cross-eyed once. Literally. Went in
Mhm.
my backyard and it just cawed a little bit too loud for
Yeah.
my own personal preferences. I pulled out a Makarov and shot it in the face because it annoyed me. What
And
did I do that was immoral?
if Sue annoyed me, I could just shoot her in the face.
No, you couldn't shoot her in the face
Cause
because you'd be
because she's
damaging
your
my
property.
Yes.
Bro, come on, that's insane.
Why is that insane? You have not explained yet, nor have you given a reason for what should happen to a person if they did do that. If I murdered your wife, you could tell me what?
Because
You should be in
you're
prison for
trying
the
to
rest of your
ridicule.
life.
You're
But if I
trying to
murder your
ridicule.
dog, you can't give me a prescription here.
You're trying to ridicule the vegan position just because we don't know the exact number of years or whatever it is. The
No,
point
that's
is,
not what I'm just saying. If you're going to draw some equivalency that you believe that an animal has morality, and then I say no, an animal's just property, and here's my prescription for it because it's property. If I ask you what the morality is and you say it's equal to a human because it's murder, then I need to know if the punishment's going to be equal to a human. The only reason you won't answer is because that's what's crazy, George. That's what's crazy. Your
what's
position
crazy?
is fucking crazy.
Well, go on. Tell me what's crazy.
What should you need to tell me the penalty? What should people go to prison for life for murdering an animal or not?
Yes, if someone broke into your house and sues, they
should go
should
to
get
prison
a
for
very
life.
severe penalty.
Should it be life imprisonment? Should it be equivalent? What about execution? What if they killed 4 of my dogs? Should we execute them?
Well, to be honest, yeah, fuck it, I'd kill them.
Of course you would. And you
But
think
you
that,
wouldn't.
You think that's the less crazy? No,
Hold
I'm
on,
not for the death. I'm not for the
Andrew,
death penalty.
Andrew, so if people killed 4, how many dogs do you have?
1.
You have 1.
1. Yeah.
Okay. What was the whole thing about 4 dogs a moment ago?
Well, I was just making a hypothetical to try to get you to engage with the fact that we still have absolutely no moral argument from you at all for why any of this is actually bad, 1. And 2, whenever I try to draw one out, understand this critique that I'm giving you is I'm just literally trying to figure out what you would do if we actually did assign animals value. If we actually gave them moral value other than property value. Like, could I fight with a bear and kill it? Do I go to jail? Does it get a trial? Like, where are we going here?
The problem here is you're assigning property rights to sentient beings. You're talking about Sue like she's a fucking object. And you know what, Andrew, wait, say that again.
She is an object.
She's an object.
Yeah, she's alive, but she has no moral value other than the
she
fact
has
of
no
what she
moral
can...
value.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's guys.
You keep on saying that's crazy, but that's not an argument.
It is. Yes, it is. That
What's the argument?
I don't know how I can even fucking proceed in this debate.
Of course
not. Andrew, Sue, your beloved German Shepherd, you're calling her a fucking object. I don't know how I can even. What the fuck can I even say?
Do you agree? Do you agree with me, George, that most people in the United States eat meat?
Yes.
So they must not assign much in the way of moral value to cows, right? They must think of them like objects. They must not think of them
I don't
as
care
being
what they. I don't care what they
right.
think.
Right. You don't care. All right.
No.
That's my whole point. I don't care what you think, George. I only care about what you can argue. Right.
But there's
George
nothing.
says, I don't care what
uh,
they think.
Andrew.
That's nice.
But Andrew, there's nothing I can argue against someone who thinks that their own dog, the only reason that their is bad is that it's their fucking property.
Well, no, there's a lot of
So-
ways that
so
you can
you-
argue
you-
that that's wrong, but you just haven't done it.
Okay. So tell me your favorite memories with Sue.
Oh man, they're innumerable.
Go on.
They're innumerable. Just
Tell us.
assume that I have some extremely heartfelt ones, and then go ahead
Yep.
with your argument, because I do. Heartfelt memories.
You have
Her
heartfelt
little head,
memories
like
with
I'll tell
Sue.
you a great story. I'll tell you a great
Go on.
story, for instance.
Yep.
When we first got her, when she was a puppy, right? And I put her on her little pillow, she wouldn't touch the hardwood floor. She must have thought it was lava or something, right?
Yep.
She just did not want to get off the pillow. Took 3 days. My wife actually had to calm her down by taking her to another room, and she slept on my wife's chest. It was great, right? She suddenly got a lot more comfortable with the home, and then she was able to run around, right? She's brought great joy to my family, great joy to my children. It has been phenomenal and fantastic. She has been a great piece of property, George. One of the best investments I ever made.
Right. And do you think based off that it would be okay for someone to kill Sue?
No, I never said it would be okay for someone to kill Sue. That would be directly impeding on my property. They would be destroying something that I own, and I would defend it tooth and nail. But Sue's job, by the way, she's a kamikaze fighter. Her entire job, if somebody breaks in, is to jump in front of us and take all of the bullets, and that's what I trained her to do. Her job is to go in to make sure that my wife stays safe. What's wrong with me giving her that job? She's my slave. I trained her to die for my wife. Why did I do something wrong?
So that's the only reason you value Sue, just because she would like jump in front of a bullet.
That's one of the primary reasons I value her. Yeah.
And if she couldn't do that, would you value her?
I'd value her a lot less. She would have a lot less utility to me. She would have a lot less meaning to me. There'd be a lot less that I could do with her. So therefore, I would value her a lot less. Yes. Her job is to be my slave, to dive in front of my wife, take the bullets, jump at the bad guy, and die if necessary to protect my wife. What did I do wrong by training her to do that? What did I do wrong, George?
I'm not saying you did something wrong by training her to do anything. I'm just saying that
Now,
it's crazy to me that you objectify. Hold on, Andrew.
Let's let
I
him
haven't
finish
finished.
the answer.
Sorry, go ahead.
Andrew, I'm saying that it's crazy to me that the only reason that you value Sue is because she's your property.
Yeah, but I don't. That's not an argument. I don't know why you don't understand that.
I do. Hang on, I do have to step in because, again, trying to remain neutral here, but it is true that just saying like that's crazy or like that's insane to me doesn't actually convey an argument. It just kind of says like, well, I don't agree with that. So there does need to be some sort of like ought claim.
Yeah, what's the reasoning
asserted? Like
if I didn't do anything wrong, then it's okay for me to enslave my animals, right?
But you have done something wrong.
You just said I didn't do anything wrong.
About what? What was the thing?
I enslaved that dog, trained that dog to die instead of my wife. If somebody broke in, that's her job. She takes it very seriously, and she's going to. Somebody comes in, she's the first one in before the guns even come off the nightstand, right? So I trained her to be my slave. I enslaved her. I literally bred into her to attack and take the bullets and die if necessary for her family before any of us come to any harm. What did I do wrong? I enslaved an animal and instilled that in her. What did I do wrong?
And if Sue couldn't perform these duties for her, you would just be fine for someone to shoot her in the head.
No, I wouldn't be fine for someone to destroy my property. I already stated that. Now, but let me be maximum charitable. Let's say I knew some guy, just like some random guy who liked to shoot dogs in the face for some random reason that I don't understand. And I was like, hey, buddy, here's my property. Now it's your property, and he went out and shot it. I got no argument against that. None.
To be honest, guys, I don't know how I can even fucking progress from here. Like, if I can't even convince Andrew that it's wrong to his own dogs, how the fuck am I even going to convince him about the lambs and the pigs and the chickens?
Well, you can't, because
I can't. No, I can't.
Well, I need you to understand why, though, George. This is very important. It's
Go on.
because your arguments are fundamentally fucking stupid, and you don't know
Mhm.
what you're talking about.
And what's your argument?
And you've never had any clue what you're talking about.
And what's your
And
argument?
I knew that this would go this way when I reviewed what you were saying, and I went through your PowerPoint. Your arguments are atrocious. No, I'm sorry. Your arguments on your website. The arguments are atrocious, and you have no clue what you're talking. You have not made a single argument.
Arguments are atrocious.
Listen, if I went right this second and just grabbed a meat cleaver and just started fucking cutting my dog to pieces, can you tell me why that's wrong or not?
Okay, can we hear from the audience why we think that would be wrong?
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is
okay,
that?
so again, hang on.
Andrew.
hang on. George,
Andrew.
I really want this to continue in good faith. And
sure.
I don't think making appeals to the audience, appeals to me, appeals to emotion are going to work. Well,
okay.
I'm trying to be.
That is insane, Andrew. If I said,
continue.
Andrew, if I said on this live stream, okay, Andrew, what would be wrong with me taking a meat cleaver to your head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have arguments for why that would be wrong.
What would be the arguments?
Well, regardless of what those are, I need to know what your argument is right now for why it's not okay for me to go chop up Sue with a meat cleaver right now. Why do you think that's bad?
Oh my God.
Why is it bad, man? Is it bad for me to do that or no? Just say
yes,
it's bad
for you to
okay,
do that.
now tell me why.
Because Sue is a sentient being who wants to live and suffers and feels pain. She's not your property. The reason that it's bad, Andrew, is not to do with her being your property. It's to do with the fact that she's actually a sentient being who suffers and feels pain.
Okay. So let's start with a couple of these claims. Claim number one, she's not my property. Whose property is she?
I don't know who property she is. I know she lives in your house. But the point is her moral value is not dependent on her being your property.
Okay. Can she own herself?
What do you mean by that?
Well, do you own yourself? Are you somebody else's property?
I'm not somebody else's property, but I have bodily autonomy, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so do you think animals also have bodily autonomy?
Yes.
Okay. So if an animal kills another animal, have they committed murder?
Yeah, they have. It's not good that animals kill each other in nature.
So we should kill all the predators so that doesn't happen anymore, like Vegan Gains wants to do?
Well, that would, yeah. So the thing about that argument is that would result in potential reductios, such as me killing people who eat meat, and I don't agree with that.
What about the nature of the animal itself? Do you think the animal thinks it's doing anything wrong by killing another animal?
No.
You only think that the animal is doing something wrong because you have some type of moral foundation that infers to you that it's doing something that's incorrect, right? But the animal itself has no such moral implications on its own. A wolf doesn't care about the deer.
Yeah.
Right?
Who cares? Why is that relevant?
Right. Why don't you care? Because if you assign that it's murder to kill the animal, you're giving the animal agency. Meaning that now you consider the animal to be equal to humanity.
No,
so all crimes humans are guilty of, you need to apply fairly to those animals as well.
No, but I don't think the animal doing the eating has the level of moral agency that humans have.
So there's a delineation between humans and animals, right?
Yes.
So then that delineation, whatever that delineation is what I value in humans and not in animals.
So Andrew, what was your dog's name?
My dog's name is Sue.
So if Sue was to attack your children, I shouldn't stop them because it's nature.
Well, wait a second. You need to back up because I think that you completely missed what I said. But let me answer the question first, and I'll go back to what you said. What do I value, humans or animals?
You value humans.
Right. So then it's self-explanatory. If an animal attacked my children, why it would be wrong from my perspective, right?
Yeah.
So then why did you ask the question?
Because I see an inconsistency there.
Where's the inconsistency?
Because you've basically just said that if animals kill each other in nature, we should just let them do that.
That's
But
because you assigned it as
yeah,
being murder
but
if somebody kills an animal.
if Sue attacks your children, we
Mhm.
should stop them. We should stop Sue.
Right. I would stop Sue because I value humans and not animals. So I don't
But
care if
it's
animals.
nature.
Yeah, but I
It's
don't care if
nature.
I didn't make an appeal to nature. You're doing that for
You
some odd
did
reason.
because
By the way,
animal.
just so you
Because
know,
wait,
go ahead.
Andrew,
Mhm.
do you admit that humans are animals?
Well, if you're asking as far as a classification of animal, yes, but we're a specific species, and it's within the speciation that I hold that there's value.
Mm-hmm.
So taxonomically, it would be correct, but there's still a speciation difference taxonomically.
What does taxonomically mean?
It's like just how you categorize shit. That's all it means. Biological categorization. Like if you were doing race, that would be taxonomical things. It's just biological categorization.
Yeah.
Species, clusters, all that would be taxonomical.
So what would be wrong with Sue attacking your children?
Well,
If Sue wanted to do that?
I have no value for animals whatsoever. I only value the species known as humans. That's it. That's the only value that I assign as moral agents, period. So if any animal, regardless of what it was, whether I owned it or did not own it, I would consider that to be egregious and would put the animal down immediately. Now, if an animal killed another animal, I also don't care. Right? So I don't care. I don't value animals. So if a wolf killing a deer means nothing to me at all. But from your perspective, a wolf killing a deer would be murder. And you think I'm crazy. Right? You think I'm crazy.
Andrew, I never said you were crazy. I said your point that killing Sue would be an act against your property is bad was crazy.
Well, you can't categorize. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think Sue has moral value regardless of whether you categorize her as your property or not. I think Sue's a sentient being. She suffers, she feels pain, and if someone were to sue, that would be bad regardless of whether she's your property or not.
Okay, so let's back up. If I kill a deer, if I shoot a deer, I am murdering the deer from your opinion, in your opinion, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If a wolf kills a deer, the wolf is murdering the deer in your opinion, correct?
Yep.
Should the penalties then for both be exactly equal? Or is there some delineating? Okay, so what's the delineating factor then?
Humans have more moral agency than the.
Right. So then you value humans more than animals as well.
I don't value them more. I believe they're more. It's more justifiable to hold them accountable.
Why? Murder's murder. Like if you murdered somebody who was completely unconscious and had no faculties going on whatsoever, if you went and like stabbed them in the chest, isn't that murder?
Are you talking about like a coma patient or something?
Yeah, somebody has no moral agency. There are people with no moral agency. Like even psychopaths may not have moral agency. Can we kill them, or is that murder?
Well, obviously, I'd think that killing a psychopath would be better than killing someone who's a non-psychopath. Yeah.
Okay, but they both have. When you're looking at moral agency, right? The thing that you actually are valuing is not humans. You're valuing things with moral agency. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
The delineation point is the moral agency, not the fact that they're people versus animals now.
Yeah, but someone who's a psychopath, they have the ability to reason with other humans about why what they're doing is wrong, yet they still decide to do it.
So the delineation point, again, in your moral paradigm, is not to say that animals are equal to humans, because they're not, right?
Veganism isn't about like animals being equal to humans. It's just saying that they have moral value.
What's the moral value, and why should we assign them any?
The fact that they're sentient beings like humans are. They
Okay.
suffer, they feel pain, and they want to live. And that would be the only reasons that it's wrong to kill you, Andrew.
Then let's drive in on the sentience factor. You would admit that there are people without sentience, correct?
Yeah, there's people with like learning
Can we
difficulties.
kill them?
Wait, hold on. Actually, no, I
No?
don't think there is.
There's not human
Probably not.
beings. There's not human beings who have been completely brain dead and then made a full recovery. Those people are not sentient. Can we kill them?
Are you talking about coma patients?
No, I'm talking about people who the brain functions have shut down and then later restarted for some odd reason that we don't exactly comprehend. It has happened many times. Those people do not have sentience. Why can't we kill them?
To be honest, I'm not even sure about the people you're even talking about.
Well, let's assume that there are such people, because there are. Would it be okay to kill them? And if the answer is no, then sentience must not be the highest value. There must be something else.
It doesn't even have to be that sentience is the highest value. It can just be that, it can be a combination of these things. We know that animals Andrew, hold on.
Yeah.
Would you agree that we're animals?
I would agree that that's a correct taxonomical categorization, but we also have a specific taxonomical species. So while we are in a overarching categorization, we have a subcategorization in which we fall.
Okay.
So like by the laws of identity, you're not a chicken, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a human being.
Yeah.
So the correct taxonomical category would be you are an animal, but a human being, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then when we're talking about this, when you say things like, are you an animal? It's meaningless to me, right? Because all things basically that are mammalian or reptilian or insects or whatever are animals. That's just a taxonomical categorization. You don't give moral value to it, though. It's just a category for all these things.
But why do you assign moral value to the human animal and not to the non-human animal?
Well, that's a fine question. I wish that you would answer that, but I'll answer it for you, right? I'll answer
Go
it
on.
from my perspective, because you said sentience, but then really couldn't answer to the sentience question. From my perspective, I value humans because they're capable of having metaphysical experiences, and they're capable of understanding metaphysics, and that's why they're more valuable than animals. Meaning things like the laws of logic, which are immaterial, don't exist, this type of thing. Animals can't do that.
If a human was not capable of metaphysical experiences, you would be okay for someone to cut that human's throat, or no?
No, because the preference rides within the fact that they fall within the speciation of humanity. So this categorization is what matters to me. Just the fact that they can experience this at all is enough for me.
So the only thing that assigns the moral value is what they're surrounded by, the actual traits they have.
No, the trait is irrelevant. What I'm saying is that animals cannot have metaphysical experiences. Only humans can have metaphysical experiences. That's it. That's the distinguishment between us and them, and always has been. That's why I value humanity. Don't give a shit about animals and never will.
To be honest, I don't even know where to fucking go from here. I mean, Zen, like from the.
Well, I just want this one thing answered though. On the sentience front, you never actually answered this.
Yeah, go on.
If an animal when you're talking about sentience, right? If a human being does not have sentience, is it okay to kill them?
Are you talking about like they're a plant? They're just like growing from the ground.
Well, tell me what do you consider sentience to be? What is that?
They're having a conscience experience.
You know that there's human beings who don't have conscious experiences, right?
I would disagree with that. I'd say all humans have conscious experiences.
Like, what if you're born with no brain? Are you having a conscious experience?
Well, born with no brain.
Yeah, people are born with no brain.
And what would happen to them? Would they die in
Well, they're on life support, right?
How long would it take for them before they would die?
If you pulled them off life support, I don't know, maybe a few minutes, maybe less than that. Maybe their they just have like a stem, and their cardiovascular system continues to go, so they could live for days without like medical intervention to end their life prematurely.
And they're literally having no conscious experience.
That's right.
Feel no pain.
Well, I don't know if they don't feel pain.
Yeah,
they might feel pain because there's the central nervous system still.
Then I would assign no moral value to them. No, so it'd be just like an object.
So like abortion, same thing. Do you assign a fetus without a fully active nervous system? Do you consider them to be conscious? Are you pro-abortion?
My views on abortion are kind of a bit like they're kind of like I would describe them as half pro-death, half pro-life. So I'm not a pro-choicer, if that's what you're asking.
Well, explain it to me.
Okay, yeah. So before sentience, I actually think that it's the good thing to abort them, because I don't think that it's okay to create sentience and suffering from nothing. But once they've gained sentience, yeah, I don't think that it's a good idea to abort them. So
Why not?
basically,
Why is sentience the thing that ought be valued, do you think?
because it's someone having a conscious experience and you're robbing them of the very things that they value.
Yeah, but that's just
You're
begging the
victimizing them.
question. You're saying we
What's
ought
the
to
question?
value people. Well, you're saying we ought to value people who are sentient because they're sentient. It's just question begging. That's the very question
Oh, I see.
I'm
Yeah.
asking you.
No,
Why
but
should we value
yeah.
the sentience itself,
Yeah.
other than the fact that it's just some preference that you have?
Yeah, so sentience is important because it actually it's what gives us conscious experience and gives rise to things like suffering, valuing our own lives. It's what gives rise to things like morality in the first place.
So you think that we should value sentience because it's the only way that we would have morality?
I'm not saying it's the only way that we would have morality.
Do you think that sentient animals have morals?
They would have morals to a certain extent, maybe
Well, what's
not.
a certain extent? They obviously and clearly murder each other. So it's not an instilled morality, right?
But they would look out for each other.
What do you mean they look at? They kill each other constantly for fun.
No, Andrew, I'm not talking about killing other species. I'm talking about in order for it. Do you know much about evolutionary biology?
I do.
Okay, so in order for a species to survive and thrive, they need to actually have a certain level of being able to look out for each other. Otherwise, it will fail.
What do you mean by look out for each other? You mean some type of mutual cooperation for survival, like a pack,
Yeah,
maybe?
and that they would feel bad
but
if each other were to be killed.
Yeah, but you understand from an evolutionary biological standpoint that that's a mechanism, not a conscious thing. These are just mechanisms. These aren't conscious decisions. These are mechanistic decisions.
They're both.
Well, you need to demonstrate that they're both then. Demonstrate that a wolf joins a pack not through a mechanism, but through conscious decision making. That's what I want to hear.
Okay, so would you agree that wolves make rational decisions in their daily lives, like they have?
No, I don't think they're capable of rationality.
Okay, so why do wolves have eyes?
So that they can see things.
Okay, and what's the purpose of eyes, evolutionary? What's the biological?
Well, I don't believe in evolution, but from your
you
standpoint,
don't believe in evolution?
No, but from your standpoint of the mechanism,
Andrew,
I'm doing what's called an internal critique.
Andrew,
from your standpoint, that would still be a mechanism, not a conscious decision.
You have to understand, I can't debate with someone who doesn't believe in the proven fact of evolution.
Why? If I understand your worldview completely and can debunk it, I'm exactly the guy you should be debating with, because I understand your worldview. You don't understand mine. I just told you I understand evolution. I understand biological evolution fine. I understand the theory of evolution fine. If you would like me to give you a dissertation on it quickly, I can. And if you disagree with any point, then we can move off of it.
Okay. But Andrew, are you denying the proven scientific fact of evolution?
There's no such thing as a proven scientific fact, sir. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this, George. Do me this thought experiment. Just do me this one favor. Put your hands like this over your eyes. Just humor me. Humor me. Just please humor me.
I'm not humoring you.
Okay, well, can you just tell me what the scientific method is?
What do you mean, what the scientific method
What's the scientific method? You said it's a proven scientific fact. Can you tell me the scientific method?
I don't even know what you mean by that.
You don't know what this? Do you know what the scientific method is?
I don't know what you mean when you say that. No.
You don't know what the science? Really? You don't know what the scientific method is?
Andrew.
What do you mean you don't know what I mean?
Andrew, when you say you don't believe in evolution.
No. Back up.
No, hold
you
on.
don't know what I mean by
Andrew,
the scientific method,
this is
and
like
you said
arguing
something's
with
a proven scientific fact?
Andrew, this is like arguing with a flat earther at this point.
What?
No, Andrew, you're denying evolution, the proven fact of evolution.
If it's a proven fact, tell me the scientific method.
Okay, I'll prove to you the scientific method.
What is it?
Have you heard of DNA sequencing?
Won't you tell me the scientific method?
I'm
Just tell me
telling
the
you
method.
it, but you've just interrupted. Andrew.
The method, okay, the scientific process, scientific method, any of that. Just please,
Andrew,
tell me the method.
Do you know about DNA sequencing?
I'm not an expert in DNA sequencing. No, I understand some bare minimalisms from. It depends on what you're asking specifically.
Okay, so would you acknowledge that DNA has now shown that it's like fully decided. It's like this is a done thing. It's not like up in the air. It's just like boom. Science has concluded this, that we share a common ancestor with like gorillas, chimps, so on.
Well, would you say though that is a hypothesis, an observation, or would you say that this was discovered through experimentation?
It's been fully discovered. If Andrew, if they
hang on, listen closely to my question.
I'm listening.
Do you think that this was based on an observation, a hypothesis, or an experiment?
Explain to me the difference between the three.
That's the scientific method. I'm done. We're good.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to end it there, and I'll come and Zen. Do you know what, Zen? I'll come on to another live stream.